Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got another headphone review for you today. This one is the OG Focal Clear Professional version. If you're at this channel and you're watching this review, you've probably heard about these, you've probably seen about them. They are good. I mean, they're pretty much as good as everyone says. So let's talk about let's look at what they come with first, and then we'll get into the sound and what's good about it, and what the use case would be, and who they're for. So, because they're not for me. Like, these aren't my headphones. Somebody sent them out for review. One of my friends that I made through the forums here in this great headphone community of ours. So thank you. You know who you are. Appreciate it. And yeah, they're not for me, but they are excellent. So yeah, we'll get to that. Let's look at what you get here. So we've got. I'm not going to show you the actual box. I mean, it's a nice box, but it's like you got to lift it up, and it takes, I don't know, there's probably videos you've seen where you open it up, but it takes like 30 seconds to get it off, get the top off. But anyway, you get a great case, typical Focal case, right? This comes with a lot of their different headphones. Comes with a couple of different cables. This one, they both terminate. Well, this one terminates in 3.5 and has the typical screw adapter with it. Not a bad cable by any means. Certainly better than some of the other stuff I've seen out of Focal. So it's a very normal, just easy to use cable. Then, if we open this up, which comes in the box, which is pretty sweet, right? You can see you've got extra pads there, and then you've got another more like studio style cable that is, it's a little bit longer. It's got obviously the coiled cord, and then this one is just a 1/4 inch adapter on this one. So I like the two different cords that it comes with. I love the presentation of the box here, the little kit, all that's really awesome, honestly. Like, a nice little kit for sure. But if you've seen anything about Focal, you probably know that their unboxing experiences are quite nice. Let's set that aside for the time being, and let's talk about the headphones. Now, one thing that I guess we'll kind of address, the one of the standout things about this, right, is the black and red, color scheme. Now, what I'll tell you here is I got my Canon shooting this, and like these reds, they don't look this red in person. And a lot of, I did not think that I would like this colorway on these headphones, because the red just always looks so intense in most of the photos and videos I saw of it. The reality is, if you look at my overhead footage here from my Sony, this is much, much, much closer to what they actually look like in person, which means it's just got the red is more of a subdued, like, maroon, is how I would call it. So it's actually kind of like a little subtle, and I actually really like it after I got these and was looking at them. So previously I thought I would rather have like the silver ones, but actually now that I see these, I like this. I like this color scheme, and I'd go with them. Like, I'd be happy to have these headphones, right? Typical Focal build here, right? I've done a couple other Focal reviews. The build is exactly the same as the Alex, as the Alears, same. Which is to say, it's pretty good, right? Metal, nice metal. The styling's nice. Yeah, I mean, you got a little color match on the pad there. This one does seem to be like a little bit creaky. But it's used. I don't know how old it is, but it's still in great condition. But build and comfort, I like the Focal stuff. I think it's built nice. I know there can be some QC issues that I've heard about, especially with like the Alex. Never experienced any issues myself. I find them to be very comfortable headphones. They just fit my head super well. They do have that kind of like spring-loaded cup, but I mean, I get a great fit with them, and I think they're comfortable to wear for a long period of time. They are reasonably heavy headphones, but again, that doesn't bother me at all. I think they're very, very comfortable. And, after seeing these, I thought, I preferred the Alex, just the all blacked out version. But, after seeing these, I think I like these better. I like these better than the Lears and the Alex as far as styling goes with the red and stuff. So, again, the red really grew on me after I had them in person and was using them. So, nice build, nice quality, nice unboxing, nice accessories. All that stuff is great with these headphones. How do they sound? They sound very clear. Is one way to put it. I mean, I think these are aptly named headphones. They're, as their name implies, these are the Clear Professional. Now, it's my understanding that the Clear Professional and the regular Clears sound the same, basically. That's what I've heard. I don't know. Do your own research. I've only had these to listen to, so I don't know that for sure, but that's just what I've heard. Based on that, and based on like my other experience with the Lears and the Alex, I would say that the Clears are definitely the most neutral out of the focals that I've heard, and I feel like they're the most controlled as far as bass, and I like that. They're the best from what I've tried. Now, I haven't tried the new focals, the MGs, I think is what they're called. I haven't tried those. I haven't tried the Utopias, and I haven't tried their higher end closebacks, although I did try the Elegia. But out of all of those things, I think these Clears have been the best tuned of any of the focals I've tried. Whereas I felt like both the Lear and the Alex were very exciting headphones and had more like emphasis and energy put into it than I would say is natural or neutral. I feel like the Clears still have that a little bit, but it's taken back a notch to make it more of a analytical headphone. And I say analytical not in a bad way by any means. Like, if these in fact are for professional use, I honestly think these would be a fantastic headphone for that if you're mixing, mastering, and things like that. The image that was in my head, or like the analogy that was in my head when I was using these, and I mentioned this briefly in my HE6 video that I did previously, is that whereas like the HE6, I feel like it's more like a you're there experience. Like, if you close your eyes, you can kind of imagine it, that you're there, right? Like if somebody was describing, I equate it to like a landscape, right? That they would tell you about like the scents and sounds and feels and things like that, and you can really picture yourself there when you're using the HE6. With the Clears, I think it's much more like, take that same landscape, and instead of like imagining you're there, you're just looking at like a crystal clear image of that landscape where you can see all the details, all the different elements. It's all in focus. It's all right there for you to access and to study and to take in, but it's not like you're there. It's more of an outside perspective looking in on the music. But I mean, I guess for, I'm not a studio music person or anything like that, but that seems to me like it would be like the ultimate thing that you would want, right? Is to be able to step back, analyze the music, pick out the different pieces, and make sure they sound correct. And I think for that, the Clear would be a wonderful headphone and for professional use. And if you like to listen that way, I think it'd be wonderful for that. So just running through the frequency response here, like all of it is very, very clear. Again, like it's very clear. You can pick out every little piece. The bass, I feel like, is still maybe a little bit higher than neutral. Like it does have a good impact, just like the rest of the focal stuff, right? It is a very dynamic headphone, has good impact. So bass is strong, like definitely a lot of weight to the bass on these. Not overdone, and less so than I'd say like the Alex and the Lear from memory, but still very present, very pleasing, lots of texture, lots of impact, very nice. mids, vocals, I mean string plucks and all that stuff. It's a little more forward of a presentation, I would say, with just like a little bit of sizzle there. I mean, it's not harsh or anything like that. It's just got enough to make it lively and to give it a little bit of a sparkle and an edge in a good way. Okay, in a good way. And then, up to the highs, I didn't, like, honestly, nothing stood out to me a whole lot with the highs. And I think for me, that means that they're good, right? It's not like I didn't feel like they were missing. I didn't feel like they were overdone. I just felt like they were right where they needed to be for the most part. Sorry, Wally's decided he's going to join us for this review. So they're great. I mean, they're really nice. They drove well off of just about everything, which is maybe one of the big things that these have going for them, is they don't take a lot to power them. That being said, I did much prefer them on my desktop setup, so either with my Singzer or with my Valhalla 2. I thought probably my favorite was them on the Valhalla. With the Singzer, they were good, and again, as far as like being analytical, you just really feel like you have everything down there. What are you doing, Wally? When it's hooked up to an amp like that, all this coming out of the Bifrost too. But when it's hooked up to an amp like the Singzer, which is a very, clean amplifier, you definitely get the sense that you're really, analyzing the music for sure. So hook it up on some tubes, and that eases up a little bit, and I think makes it a little more relaxed, a little bit mellower to listen to, and that was probably my preference. And again, I don't really think of myself as like an analytical, hear every little piece of the music type of person. I'm much more looking for like the holistic experience. And I feel like for that, I feel like the HE6 and the Aeolus, which I have right now, I feel like both of those do that a little bit better than the Clears, and I think that mainly has to do with the way they present space. I feel like the Clears don't have a ton of soundstage. I feel like, and I don't feel like there's a lot of depth with it, right to left. It's, again, imaging within their soundstage is very accurate, but I don't feel like you're just not getting like that 3D effect that both, I feel like, especially the HE6 when driven properly, and the Aeolus pretty much out of anything, but they have a better, you get a better sense of just kind of the whole presentation of the music, I feel like. Whereas the Clear is more like you can get all the little pieces. I don't feel like I get like immersed in the same sense that I do those other headphones. Again, going back to that analogy where with the Clears, it's much more like you're looking and analyzing like a very clear picture of the music, a very clear photograph of the music. And I hope that makes sense to you. By no means does that mean they're not enjoyable. By no means does that mean they're too cold or anything like that. I just mean they are like an analytical tool, and for that they are wonderful. Technically, across the board, I feel like this is probably on par with the HE6. I feel like they're neck and neck detail-wise. Maybe the Aeolus is just like, I don't know, I would say almost just a little bit lagging behind those two. But I'll save that. You can check out the HE6 review, and I'll do the Aeolus here before too long. But let's kind of wrap up the Clears here. So package, wonderful, sound, just beautifully transparent and precise and very exacting. And if that's what you're looking for, then I think wonderful choice in these headphones here. I think, are they worth their price tag of somewhere around $900? I'd say probably they are. I mean, are you getting like a ton more than you would with like an Alex or an Alere? I don't think so. I mean, I think they're all kind of in the same ballpark, which makes it a little bit harder to recommend the Clear at $900, just because you can buy those other ones for like $450, $500 easy at this point in time. So I don't know. I guess if I was to make a recommendation, if you're a professional, probably these. If you're just looking for a focal for enjoyment, I would maybe start at the Allure or the Alex, and then if you feel like you want something that tilts a little more analytical, then look at maybe the Clears, if you're really into the focal stuff. So wonderful headphone, love focal stuff. I think this one's another, like, it's not like they make a bad headphone, right? So they're good, but ultimately with me having the HE6 and the Aeolus right now, I don't feel like these quite fit my needs. I do feel like these might be, like, out of those three, if you were looking for like one all-arounder that was like practical, like a little more on the practical side, like these would probably be it, because neither the HE6 or the Aeolus are like super practical headphones, but they are both wonderful. So I hope that helps. I think that's going to wrap it up. Questions, comments, other opinions down below as usual. You know, if you found this useful, I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.